We're on the internet.
Hooray!
Hooray!
We did it!
Hello,
We
internet.
did it. Great. Hello and welcome to episode 157 of the Game Brew Podcast, the bi-weekly video game podcast where we sip delicious bevs, discuss video games. I am your host, Dan the Turkey Rots. I'm joined by Carrie, the Stuffing Bowen.
Arguably the best carb on the table.
Allison Sweet
Thanksgiving.
Sweet Potatoes Van Devender.
I'm sweet and served with toppings.
That's not going to get clipped.
And
I hope there's no one here yet.
and Chris Pecan Pie writes.
I do. How do you make that the custard stuff in the middle? That's always been confusing.
I don't
Custard
listen.
in the
I don't
middle?
know.
It's like
It's-
sugar. It's a sugar base.
It's magic.
It's
It's
magic.
it's mostly
Baker's
mostly
magic.
molasses.
magic.
You
Mostly
know,
magic.
You're not wrong.
Hannah, I've never made sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving before, and we made sweet potatoes, and there is a lot of sugar that you have to put in sweet potatoes.
I mean, they're already pretty sweet. Though,
You don't
right?
have to.
but the recipe we had called for a lot of it.
Do you
Were they
mean
good?
pecan pie or do you mean sweet potato?
No, sweet
'Cause-
potatoes.
Okay.
Sweet potatoes. The way we made them, classic like gooey sweet potatoes.
I don't do the sweet potatoes.
You got to do it. It's great. It's a great
No.
addition to the
Like
plate.
a little bit of butter.
But
Mm.
on this episode of the Game Brew Podcast, we asked the question: what games and stuff in games are we thankful for? Or are we thankful for? Tanks.
Tank.
Tanks. But first, it's time for some bevs. Chris,
Yeah.
what are you drinking this week?
Hold on. Let me. I should have pre-poured it. I was lazy.
You didn't pre-pour. Well, I like to
Should've
do. I like to do the cracky noise. The cracky noise is my favorite part.
Like to summon the Kraken, as it were.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this week I'm drinking. I've talked about New Trail Brewing before. They're like they're from Pennsylvania, I believe.
Yes, they are.
And yeah, so this is their flannel weather hazy IPA. It's a
I
double
love
hazy.
that can.
Yeah, it's very
That's
very
amazing.
me in college.
That was me in high school, the grunge
yeah,
years.
so it's a New Zealand style hazy double IPA with Nelson's Sauvin hops.
I
Ooh.
wore that shirt yesterday. What does that say about me? So that's me now.
We love flannel here.
And it's kind of got like that typical hazy flavor, but then a little bit more zing, like citrusy zing at the front end, which is kind of nice. But then it finishes pretty clean. It's pretty good, so far. Chuggability is it's a hazy, so I consider hazies pretty chuggable. So 3.5.
3.5. The chuggability rating, pretty chuggable. We would do with that. The Eagles just won, so Hannah had to come in and make sure that she told me that.
Oh, okay.
Because Allison
Spoiler
is wearing.
alert. Hopefully nobody was.
If you're not watching the game, you got to pay attention. Listen, none of you are in Pennsylvania. It's fine.
The most important game hasn't started yet, so
That's true. That does start.
Side note, JMU's going bowling.
I saw
it were.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jamie's
that's
going to be
exciting.
able. Enough people lost
Yeah.
that we could do it.
Yeah, I know. Pretty neat, pretty exciting. I know that's only exciting to some people, but
Yes, it is. But we are going to continue talking about the beers. Carrie, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, this one's for my hydro homies out there. And in the spirit of cool
Ooh.
cans, I also have a cool can.
Nice.
nice.
What up, Hydro homies?
So you're just
And it is,
drinking,
5 out of
Some
5 on
water.
the chuggability.
That's
Yes.
some H2O, my friend. Some high quality H2Os.
some of that good stuff.
Stay hydrated.
filtered tap water. Yum, yum.
Listen, we say it all the time. Hydrate or dihydrate. Hydrate or dihydrate.
Yes.
We'll go. Allison, what are you imbibing this evening?
Nothing. I'm sorry. I am also not participating because I'm having stomach issues.
Oh.
So I have Deer Park water.
Ooh.
So also
Ooh.
water.
Mm.
Another hydro
good
homie.
water.
No, that's
this is my favorite
is
water,
is
I
Deer
guess.
is Deer Park your favorite go-to for like
Yeah, 'cause
bottled
think
water? Okay.
I think it's like cost effective. This is so silly to talk about, but it's cost effective, and I think it's very tasty.
Okay.
So this is my preferred water. I am cheap.
How
Hey,
do-
mine's
I'm-
tap.
I was gonna
Mine's tap
say-
water. So
Tap water
Yeah.
is probably
even
the
Tap water is
cheapest.
the best.
bottled.
How do we feel about like the smart water? It
I
like
don't like it.
no,
Mm-mm. I
Haven't
think
really
it tastes
tried it.
funny.
don't like electrolytes with your water.
It's water.
No, I like electrolytes when I want electrolytes. Like I'll grab a Gatorade, right?
I will say though, like I've had water in other countries, and for
Mhm.
whatever reason, like it doesn't quench my thirst for what like American water does. I don't know how to explain it, but like I drink it and I'm like, I'm still thirsty. Why am I
It's-
still thirsty?
Why am I still? It's the bubbles.
Maybe maybe it's chloride. I don't know.
It's probably fluoride. We're addicted to fluoride.
Chloride.
And
I said chloride. It's fluoride, not chlorine.
I was gonna say, I hope you're not drinking chlorine.
You knew what the fuck I meant.
I did, but please stop drinking chlorine. Are you drinking paint, Charlie? It's always sunny. I'm drinking a beer called Friendsgiving, by
Oh,
Perfect.
Double
cool
Nickel.
can.
I was looking for like something like that, and I settled on the
The
flannel
sweater weather one.
Or-
Yeah, Hannah found this while we were looking at it, but it's actually pretty interesting. So, a portion of the proceeds for this go to local charities, which is pretty cool. And from them, it's their way of turning a little creativity, community, and collaboration into support for local organizations working to help feed food insecure families. They had a potluck style brew day with each brewer bringing their own hops to contribute. This year's brew includes Mosaic, Azaka, Idaho 7, and Cashmere hops. So this is Source Farmhouse Brewery, Urban Village Brewing Company, Double Nickel Brewing, Tonewood Brewing, and Cape May Brewing Company are all the ones who are involved in it. So it's a hazy IPA.
Mhm.
It's good. It's pretty hazy. I always get. I think my palate gets weirded out because sometimes I think hazy IPAs, like I drink it and I expect it to be like a New England style IPA.
I mean, they're pretty similar.
They're similar. New England style IPAs are a little fruitier. It's like a little lighter on the palate, whereas hazy IPAs in general, it's still light. It's still light. I wouldn't chug this though. I wouldn't chug this. This would be like a. This is like a mildly chuggable beer. I'm gonna drink it slowly over the next hour or so, and the other one that I have over the following hour. But that's about how that's gonna go, unless I drink it faster, which is totally fine. But this is a beer and video games podcast, or a bevs
Sure
and
is.
video games podcast. Excuse me. So we're gonna talk about games that we've been playing. I'm going to start real quick. I played this game because I bought it a while ago and I haven't ever actually played it. It's called Sifu.
Yes.
It's on Epic Games, and boy, is this a game that is not made for casual players. This is a game that is like, you got to get good to play this game. The story is this isn't spoilers, it all happens in the beginning. Your master is killed by like some of his apprentices, and then you, hiding in the shadows, are avenge him. But every time, and so it's like a fighting game. It's kind of like, what's that game that Ian made us play?
It's made by the same company.
Yeah,
Absolver.
Astroneer?
Absolver. Astroneer, he did make us play that too. But Absolver, where it's like, it is kung fu, so you're like fighting against these guys and you have to memorize like combos and how to like combat other people's things. But you could die, and then when you die, you basically can come back, but you age up. So it's like you start out at 20, and then you can get as old as 70 before you have to start over again. And it's like every time you die, the amount of like years it takes off your life whenever you come back is increased. So it's so you have to like get good and not die as much. And then you can also, like, as you go through the story, you can find things from earlier levels that like you can go back and then kind of you rewind. So you go to the beginning of that level, but now it's like, oh, you have a key that unlocks a different door. So it takes you a shorter time to get through there. You don't get as much XP or as many like people you get to fight, but you do get through it faster. So you could get through later. Also, you can like unlock new abilities and new moves, but you can't do that if you go back in time and like do it faster and fight less people. It's wild. But it's really fun. I was up, like I was telling the folks before we started, I was up to like 2 a.m. playing it. Like only like the same, like it was the first 3 levels, and I did the first 2 probably for about 3 hours. And then the third one, it's taken me a really long time to get through. I still haven't beat it yet, but because the boss at the end is very tough. But boy, I definitely recommend this game if you want to play something that's like hard. That's hard, and you have to like get good with your hands and like paying attention to patterns and combos. If you're a Dark Souls person or like a Souls-like person, you will like this game. So
I am, but I don't like that it punishes you for dying, which is stupid.
But then it rewards you for surviving. Like you die, the amount of like lives that you lose as you go up gets higher, but as you beat more people, it like goes back to 1 year that you lose at a time. And as you die, you get stronger. So like the older you get, the stronger you get, but your health is slightly less. So it's like it's weird. It makes sense. It balances out, but it's still hard. So if you want to play it casually, don't do it. But if you want to play it in like it is fun, but it'll make you mad sometimes.
Yeah. How many controllers did you break?
I haven't broken any controllers yet, but there are a bunch
awesome.
there are a bunch of like hallway fight scenes, which are really cool.
Cool.
So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Let's go to do Allison.
So I played a new game this week. And I wrote down the name of it because I knew I'd forget it. It's Midnight Ghost Hunt.
Midnight Ghost Hunt.
Yeah, so it's a game, kind of a mash of like Phasmophobia meets Call of Duty. So you can either be a ghost or a hunter, and you have like class, like you can build your class like you can in Call of Duty.
Okay.
Your loadouts, and you have one for your ghosts and you have ones for your hunters, and you go in with a team of 4, and it's 4v4, and you have to find the ghosts before midnight or the ghosts get to hunt you.
Okay.
So
interesting.
The ghosts are hiding, and there's different ways that you can like track them. Like if you sit still as a ghost and you haunt an object, like your ectoplasm builds. So the longer you're sitting still, the easier you are to catch on the tracker.
Got it.
So it kind of makes you have to think about it and move and like not just sit still and hope for the best kind of thing. But it's really interesting. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I definitely think like there's some gaps in the play. I can't tell if some people are like really, really good at it or they're cheating. Like there's been one time where this one guy, and I can't tell if he's just played too much and he has like crazy perks or something and he knows all the ways to exploit, or if he was just full-fledged cheating somehow, because like we just couldn't hit him. So there's there's definitely some things where I'm kind of questioning that part. And then I would just leave every lobby he was in because I just didn't want to deal with it. But I'm enjoying it. It was like $7 Black Friday. I don't know if that's still where it is. I gifted it to Carrie, so we can try it out sometime.
Fun.
But yeah, I'm still deciding whether I love it, but I am having a lot of fun playing with people. So there's at least that. That's definitely a good thing with it.
That's very neat. It's kind of like prop hunt mixed with like ghost hunting games mixed with Dead by Daylight kind of stuff. Yep. Interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. For $7,
it's not
I'm getting
scary at all. It's just
good.
No.
Yeah.
It's for $7. I'm getting $7 worth of fun out of it already. So.
That's how I feel about. How much am I getting? $6.79 worth of fun out of this game? Yes, I am. I'm looking at the price right now. That's why I know precisely how much it is.
So I watched you play it that one night. Did the lobbies ever get better? Because I know the lobbies were like really low when you guys were playing.
I think it was the time we were playing. We haven't really played since then. We were playing at a really off time, in my opinion.
2 a.m. or 3 a.m. your time or something.
Yeah, on a holiday.
Yeah, they were up late.
That's a little late.
Yeah. So definitely the lobbies were pretty empty, but I mean, it fills it with bots, so you can still play until people join.
Cool.
And then the bots get replaced as people join. So for me, it wasn't like a big deterrent because we were still figuring out the game anyway. But yeah, definitely the lobbies were pretty empty. That was my only complaint so far, but can't say much about that until I try it at not 3 a.m. on a holiday.
See how that goes.
It was Thanksgiving at 3 a.m.
That'll do it. That'll do it. That'll make your teeny tiny lobbies. Great. Okay. Chris?
Yeah, that's me.
What you been playing?
So I played a game. I finished Super Hot finally. I'd played it. I dabbled with it for a little bit and finally just sat down one morning and was like, you know what? I want to play a puzzle game, and today it's going to be Super Hot.
Okay.
It's an interesting game, and basically the premise is it's like a bullet time simulator. So like time only moves when you move.
Right.
So you can like dodge bullets super easily, and like you can punch people and then take their gun and shoot them and then shoot, and then like while you're dodging, and eventually you get the ability to like teleport into someone else's body, and it's I don't know, it's cool. And then at the end of it, they kind of show like the full speed of what you did, and that's always entertaining to watch.
Did you play it the VR version or the regular version?
Just the regular version.
Just the regular one. Okay.
And then I also played a game called The Forgotten City. I don't know if you've heard about this. It started life as a mod for Skyrim.
Right.
And then became a full-fledged game. Basically, you go back in time into this forgotten city that's like underground, and it's supposed to be this paradise where you can't sin, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a time loop created where like if someone sins, then this one dude goes and resets everything.
Fun.
So you always have to kind of fall back on. But basically it's like a mystery and trying to figure out who's like really the bad guy, or like who's going to be the person that sins. And then you can kind of help people too. So it's just, I don't know. It was a neat premise. You can definitely see how it was a Skyrim mod that they built off of.
I think I remember playing a little bit of it, and like the conversation, like you go up to a person, they do the
yes,
and then
like
there's
as is a Bethesda game. Yes,
yeah. Oh, hello there, but not Nordic. Nice.
But no, I thought that was really neat, and really enjoyed it. Had a nice little ending. And then I've also been playing some Baldur's Gate 3 with Katie, who's just kind of getting into that. We're still in Act 1.
Nice.
We have not done any of the owlbear business because she doesn't want to yet.
Gotcha.
But we've done. We went into like the spider cave in the
spider
the blighted town where the goblins.
Cool. What classes are you rolling on this?
I'm kind of, so I was trying to like figure out what I could do that could still heal, but also be like a frontline player. So I ended up being a paladin again. But I'm a halfling paladin.
Nice.
Because, Lucky's great.
Lucky's great. Also, it's funny to see a tiny
funny.
little paladin running around.
Yeah.
Smacking people with big old swords.
Yep. My strength 18 halfling.
God.
And then my second character is Karlach, because Karlach's awesome.
Nice.
I was using Astarion before that for a little bit, but
okay,
because I do like Astarion as well. But
who doesn't?
Team Astarion.
His quips are
I'm team all of them. They're all great.
They're all great.
Okay.
All of
I'm
the
team
like
Karlach.
What?
I'm team Karlach.
I mean, Karlach's great too. They're all great.
Everyone's great.
So my character and Will get along just because of how my character is, but definitely I would have went Karlach.
Yeah. And then Katie's playing a Drow warlock.
Nice.
So there's a lot of really interesting Drow conversation options.
Yeah, people are really racist to you whenever you're
but they're also like surprised when you're like not a piece of shit.
Yeah. It's because they're like, "Oh, I thought you were all."
Well, and she's a Seldaran Drow.
Okay.
So she's not like the super awful type.
Yes, right. There's a few different ones, but it's like I don't know. With my character, I always made the backstory like, because it's like, oh, he was like adopted, so he's like he's a Drow, but he's not from the Undercity or the Underdark. So
have you watched the not King Killer Chronicles, like The Last Kingdom?
No, I have not.
Okay,
I have not.
It's part of
Netflix.
It's part of the Saxon Stories series of novels by Bernard Cornwell.
Okay.
Bernard Cornwell is a great writer of historical fiction, but he always uses the same device of, oh, this is a Saxon, but he's being raised as a Dane, or he's like a Gaelic person, but he's being raised as a Saxon, he's a Confederate someone from the North being raised in the Confederacy. Like every time.
I mean, it's a perfect trope. It's the perfect trope.
Well, and it makes it so you have all of those like cultural like schisms, I guess, or like
fighting each other. But nice, great. That'll be so. Well, I hope you all continue to enjoy it. I still haven't left Act 1, so I've got a lot of things to work on. Carrie,
I'm playing a modded 7 Days to Die. We're playing the Ravenhurst mod, but the people I was playing with were QQing too much over it, so I changed it to the Age of Oblivion mod.
Okay. And what's the difference between those?
Ravenhurst is just really, really hard. It's it takes a lot to even just craft a very basic thing. Like you have to carry a personal workbench around with you and set it down.
And then
when we first hopped in the game, it was me and two other people, and we would someone would set a crafting bench down and try to craft as much as they could to do their starter stuff, and while the other two would fend off the zombies. And then once we got too many zombies coming in, we'd pick up our workbench and run further. And it's really hard mod. It was interesting, and I was enjoying the challenge, but people weren't there for that. So we changed to Age of Oblivion, which is still a really interesting mod, but it's not as hard. So and then Valheim again.
Valheim.
Nice. Yeah, I threw up a couple servers for the friends, so we could, gather and enjoy each other's company during this season.
'Tis the season.
Be thankful for each other.
Be thankful for each other. And that's a perfect segue, because what we're going to talk about now
is chimpanzees riding on segways.
Yes, chimpanzee riding on
a segway. Bow, 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 bow.
I did want to show you guys this. This is Hannah got these. These are the magic cards that are like you put them together and they make a picture.
Is that the Lord of the Rings ones?
Yeah, it's Lord of the Rings ones.
That's pretty fucking
my husband
cool.
would drool over that.
Yeah, it's the Witch King and like all that stuff. It looks really cool. It's on my desk now.
I bought Amazon had on sale some of like the Lord of the Rings magic cards on sale, like two
Nice.
of the packs. So I bought.
Yes,
one
they
set of them.
did. Mm-hmm.
I have so many. I have so many of those. I'll show you whenever you come up here next weekend. I'll show all of my magic cards to you.
Oh fuck yeah!
I have so many. But anyway, segue into the topic, which is what it was just Friendsgiving. Thanksgiving, not Friendsgiving. Thanksgiving was last Thursday. And so what we're going to talk about, Carrie recommended this topic, is we're going to talk about some things that we're thankful for with video games this year or just over time. Whether it be a video game or something from a video game or something vaguely related to games in some way. If you're thankful for it, great. Here's what it is. So we're going to talk about it. If you have something that you're thankful for while we're talking about stuff, feel free to put it in the chat. And then at the end, we'll go over those and we'll shout them out to you. But we're going to go into ours right now. So Carrie, why don't you start and tell us something that you're thankful for?
So, my list was primarily things that directly impacted me, but this particular one is not something that is so personal to me, but something that I'm just really grateful for in the game world. And that's two games, Tennis for Two and Space War.
Okay.
So if you're not familiar with those, Tennis for Two was created in 1958 and it was designed by an American physicist named William Higginbotham and a technician named Robert Dvorak. What?
What was the first name?
What was the first name?
William Higginbotham.
Okay, that's a good name.
That's a good name, Higginbotham.
I just wanted to hear it again. Sorry.
Yeah.
and then the technician was Robert V. Dvorak, and this was actually something that they displayed on oscilloscope. Oscilloscope.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
And then Space War came along in 1962, and it was written for a DEC PDP-1 microcomputer at MIT. And it's like the first known video game to be played at multiple computer installations. So it was like the first game that they played that was passed around. And it also inspired the game Asteroids. But this was the first game that showcased the graphical capabilities of computers and new ways for users to interact with computers. Because before that was just kind of like equations and, a giant calculator, that kind of thing. And this
lame stuff
brought fun into it, a new way to interact with computers. Yeah. So I'm grateful for the stage that these games set for so many cool things to follow.
Yeah, they really did set. Those are very like Tennis for Two. I looked at like a little video clip of that, and it's like it's pretty cool because it is an oscilloscope. So it's like normally it would be the beeps and the sweeps, but instead it's just a little ball going back and forth over the thing. It's very cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's great, setting the stage. Chris, you're next. What are you thankful for?
And I apologize, Allison, because I think we have a bit of the same answer, but I think we might have slightly different reasons. So I think it's going to work out.
That's fine. I'll just piggyback off of yours.
Yeah. So the first thing I said I was thankful for was kind of online gaming, co-op gaming / Discord, just the ability that we have now to interact with people and play games with people that aren't in the same room with us, which I think is so cool. I mean, that's kind of how this whole thing got started, was that like me and you and Ian and Will, we were all we were in 4 different states at the time, and we were still able to hang out and kind of keep our friendship alive from college because of that.
Play game club was what that was. Whenever we would pick a game and we would all play it, and then we would come back in like a week or whatever, and then we would all play it together, or like we would just talk to each other about what we thought about it. It wasn't even on the internet. You can't find it anywhere. Don't try and look.
It was just for funsies.
It was just for fun. That was great.
Yeah, and that's mine too. So since I'm supposed to go after Chris, I'll just go ahead.
Yeah. All right.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're just similar, Cool people are like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my biggest thing that I'm super thankful for with gaming. Like even from middle school age for me, when online gaming looked very different. I played a text-based online game, and like really like that helped me through a lot of my social issues, because I didn't have friends, like a lot of friends, nobody I considered really like deep friends, and the online like socializing felt less anxiety inducing to me, so it was something that I could do, and I made friends, and like I was able to be somebody else. So that made me more confident. I don't know. There was just something really unique about it. And I did a lot of RP on forums, Gaia Online back in the day.
Oh boy.
So yeah, like those were the places where I was really able to like get this creative outlet and build characters and act, but not do it in a way that made me really nervous. And also, like, obviously, I've built friendships. Here's one right here, Carrie. I've talked about it before. Like that, my best friends have come from online gaming in a lot of ways. So it's just, I'm very fortunate that I grew up in a time where that was an option for me, and it really just molded my life in so many ways. And it's ways I can stay connected with people that I wouldn't be able to otherwise. And that's really amazing and super awesome to me. So yeah.
That is very cool. I know that's like one of those things where, Chris, I know you talked about this, like you met one of your bestest buds through World of Warcraft, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was in one of my buddies' weddings. Like we'd met we'd met many times, like in person at that point, but yeah, like a guy that I had met originally through WoW. I ended up being in his wedding as a groomsman.
Nice. That's awesome.
It's cool.
That's so cool. My first thing I'm thankful for is similar but more specific. I'm thankful for crossplay, because the time that I was reminded recently whenever someone was like, oh hey, let's play Battlefront 2, and I was like, okay, great, and they were just going to play it on his Xbox, and I was going to play it on the computer, but it doesn't let you do that because there's no crossplay.
Stupid.
And I was like, wow. I was like, wow, that's dumb. And then it reminded me how thankful I am that's like me and my brothers play Call of Duty with each other every week. And my brother and my brother-in-law are both on Xboxes, and me and our friend Dave are on PC, and our friend Uzman's on Xbox too. But I'm on a PC and Dave's on a PC, but we can all play together. And with crossplay and with like Game Pass and stuff and things, like it's so much easier to play games with my boys and with my friends than it used to be. And I'm just really grateful for that, because that's like, it gives me a whole new list of like things to hang out with people doing, so that's really great, and Game Pass falls under that heading too, because a lot of those games are on the PC. It's like, hey, I could do both things at once. You can play them all the stuff.
There you go.
So yeah, that's mine. Crossplay for COD with the boys. Carrie, number 2.
So number 2, I'm going to jump around on my list a little bit, because this goes along with what Chris and what all of you guys said.
Yay!
Really. But specifically game-wise, it is World of Warcraft. I am thankful for, and this game honestly was the good, the bad, and the ugly for me. But overall, I'm very grateful for this game on actually so many levels. For one, this game was gifted to me by my husband during a time in my life where I was drowning in work, and my stress levels were just through the roof. And this game helped me hang up my work hat at the end of the night and actually have some fun, take that stress off my plate for a little bit. And then the game gave me opportunities to form some amazing friendships that still exist today. of course, Allison is one of my very best friends, and I met her playing World of Warcraft. Just a random guild invite, and she was graceful enough to join us, and here we are today.
It's meant to be.
But I'm also grateful for the fact that I feel like WoW was the one that really opened up MMOs and gaming to people who had not been gamers before. Like, so many people in my circle that were not gamers actually started playing games because of World of Warcraft. And so I think it brought a lot of people into that because of the social connections that they were able to form. And that's another amazing thing about it, is it really took down like global barriers for people to be able to connect with each other globally. Like, I have so many friends all over the world. I mean, I was lucky enough to in my life to travel, but so many people aren't. And this gives them a connection with somebody in another country that may have been, just a foreign concept to them. But, it opens you up to new people's cultures and people's, lives, and it humanizes them, So yeah, that was a big one for me, World of Warcraft.
Nice.
I'm going to skip Chris. I'm so sorry, because Carrie just did my next one. So I'm going to just piggyback here. Everybody's just going to do mine before me, and that's okay. Okay. So
that was a new voice I've heard you do.
That's okay.
I have many voices. I am a box of dumb. So yeah, WoW was my next one. I mean, MMORPGs in general was kind of it, but really WoW, like she said. I got it at a time when, like, I played in high school, but I was on dial-up and I wasn't playing really seriously. But when I first moved out, that was a really like dark part of my life, really. If I'm being honest, there was a lot of craziness going on there. I was working 2 jobs, sometimes 3. I was trying to go to college at the same time. That wasn't working. Because I was already overloaded. And so I was just really stressed, and I was going through a lot of like relationship things with friends, relationship things with significant others. Like, it was just a really, really rough time for me. And WoW was an escape in a way that I had no other options to do. It was like a financial hardship to pay monthly for. Like, it was crazy. Like, I was so dirt broke at the time, but it was something I had to figure out how to keep playing. Like, it was definitely like the only thing that I had going on at the time. And it sounds dramatic, but it was my fun. Like, it was what I needed to get me through some really icky times. And yeah, that it's a huge part of my life. Every once in a while, and I've talked to Will about this so much because he's the same way. We get into like this WoW season in our heads where we'll sit there and we'll be like, we want to play again.
He announces it every year in the Discord.
He does. And I do the same thing. So I can't fault him for it, because I just sit here and there'll be a time when I'm like, man, I want to play WoW, but I really don't want to play WoW. What I want is what WoW felt like. I want that back.
You'll never get it back.
I'll never get it back. That community I had, the people, the enjoyment. Like, it's not what it was.
It's also like the time of your life when it came. Like, I think about that too, because like Lich King was awesome.
Oh, and Lich King was my favorite.
I think that was the peak.
Yeah.
And it's just been downhill since now.
Wow.
Don't tell Katie.
But no, I'm saying like the peak of WoW, not.
Oh, the peak of WoW. Oh, I was thinking you were talking about your life. I'm like, Jesus.
No, I didn't peak. My life did not peak at Lich King. Jesus.
It was so early. No.
Well, now we know what he thinks
like,
of you.
No, it's just like the amount of time that I had or pretended I had because I was in college, and like the close friends that were all playing it too. Like, it's no one has that time like that anymore.
It's wild.
Or like the lack of responsibility that you can just
we
be like,
we
whatever,
do
I'll play
we
it till
just
4.
choose other things now. You know,
Yeah.
I
I've
think
got a
back in the
house and
day
stuff, I
it
can't
actually saved me. It actually saved me a lot of money because
Oh,
that was
yeah.
my social life. So it's like $15 a
Ooh,
month.
interesting.
You know, I wasn't going out, you know, to like whatever and spending a bunch of money. I was hanging out online and socially with my friends, and
Maybe that's how I convince Hannah that we need to play Final Fantasy 14. It's like, oh, we'll spend less money.
We'll spend less money.
I mean,
oh boy, Chris, we skipped you, so it's your turn now.
Yeah. So my next one.
Also, I just want to say that, guys, that was very heartfelt, and I really love you guys and all that stuff, and like you're the best. I peaked whenever I was the hot guy in a play. That was my peak, and that was it. When I was 26 years old. But anyway, back to Chris. It's your turn.
Was it Music Man?
No, it wasn't the Music Man. I've never been in that. It's the perfect play. It's the perfect musical for me to be in. I've never been in it. And I'm very upset about it. But thank you for bringing it up.
No, I think the perfect one for you is Little Shop of Horrors.
I do. That's another one. But because I'm typecast, it's the glasses and the nerdy one, and I can do an accent like
Seymour.
this.
You're total Seymour.
So the next thing I had was, it's kind of a combination of things. So, PC gaming in general, I'm very thankful for. I remember the first time I like have a memory of PC gaming was playing StarCraft. My parents had grounded me and took away my N64.
Little did they know.
Yeah, so then I went over and like tried to do something on the computer, and then I saw like apparently my grandma bought me this game called StarCraft, and I was like, "What is this? I'll install it, whatever." And then I was like, "Oh, this is amazing," and that was that. But like, I mean, Roller Coaster Tycoon and like the Total War series are like two of my favorite series, and like I'm so thankful for all like the amount of hours that I've spent playing those games are massive, but like they've given me so much joy and so much like peace of mind and just like satisfaction, and I don't know, like they like in a weird way they've kind of shaped who I am like a little bit. Like being interested in history and Lord of the Rings, and like I love roller coasters. I love riding roller coasters, and I'm sure it's because of that game.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah.
Yep. Hannah hates roller coasters.
Thankful for Steam.
Thankful for Steam. Who couldn't be? Thanks, Gabe.
Yeah. Thanks, Gabe.
First I'm going to be thankful for Lord Greyman, who has resubscribed to us for 32
Very
months.
thankful for him.
Very thankful.
That was my
Thank
one.
you.
Single-handedly keeping the Game Brew podcast alive.
Thank you, Gray.
Thank you,
You're
Gray.
awesome.
Love you.
But my second thing I'm thankful for is very personal to me, and it's Quick Resume, which is this new thing in games for like consoles. And it has been the best thing that's ever happened to me as a person who will like be playing something, then I have to stop playing it and then go do some other stuff. And then I come back and I play it some more. And then I go to do other stuff. And then I come back and I play it some more. Because if you don't know what it is, Quick Resume is basically, it just makes your game, it's like your game is still going. Your console doesn't turn off. The game is basically paused, and even though like your TV's off, it's in a like low power mode. It's just kind of hanging out, and then you go and do other things, and then you come back, and then it's still there. You just pull it back up. You're like, oh, great, cool.
Does the Xbox have that now?
The Xbox does have that. The Xbox
that was first on the PS4, I believe.
It was on the PS4,
and it was amazing.
It was amazing. The PS5 and the Xbox Series X have it for like multiple games now. Like you can have multiple things going at once, which is great. It doesn't work the best with everything, but like as I've said in previous episodes, I was playing Spider-Man 2, and I've been playing Spider-Man 2 and Alan Wake 2 simultaneously. So sometimes I'd be like, I don't feel like in the really spooky mood for Alan Wake 2, so I'd be playing Spider-Man 2, so I'd load it up and it would be right where I was. I'd just keep swinging through the city, you know, thwip, swing, swing, punch, 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 quip, quip, quip. And then I'd be like, oh, you know what? It's getting late at night. The lights are low. It's the perfect time for like the spooky game. And so I'd switch over to Alan Wake 2, which would technically still be running in the pause screen I pulled up, because there's like save points in Alan Wake 2 and it can get kind of confusing. So it's kind of nice that it was still going. And then I could go over and play like Persona 5, where it was still going on the Xbox Series X that I had it, because Persona 5 is long as hell and I can't seem to get past the second palace.
It is long as hell.
It's so long. And there's so much I want to do that's also in the game. Got to go make friends with people and like go do stuff and get a job and
friendship.
Do your laundry. I don't want to do any of this stuff.
I can do that in real life. I don't have to do it there.
But that's what I Quick Resume is great. I could have my crazy life where I'm going all over the place, doing all these other things, and still come back and be Spooter Man for a while. Spooter Man. Okay, Carrie, your turn.
So this one's another two for Pitfall and Pac-Man. So Pitfall, because it was my like introduction into video games, my personal introduction into being passionate about video games. I played it on the Atari. Well, primarily I watched my dad play it on the Atari.
Okay. Gotcha.
My favorite part was just watching him swing across the pit of alligators. To me, that was just so much fun.
It's great.
And then it led to us playing Zelda and doing pass the controller and that kind of thing. And then Pac-Man was my first like game I fell in love with at the arcades. Like whenever I went to the arcades, you'd either find me playing pinball or you find me playing Pac-Man. And that I would say was probably the first game where I was like trying to get the high score, trying to get my 3 little initials there on the screen. And, and it was one of those games where if you went somewhere that had more than one arcade machine, Pac-Man was typically the other one there.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually Miss Pac-Man was ultimately my favorite Pac-Man. But yeah, that really, I think, was the peak of my video game interest.
I have a question, and this is I'm gonna get gamer hate for this. What's the difference between Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man? Is it just the bow and different levels?
Yeah, I mean, it really is what it was. I think there was a different game mechanic too with Miss Pac-Man, but I can't remember. It's been so long since I've played it, but there was something a little bit different. It wasn't just different levels. Baby Pac-Man was cool because it had the pinball integration, which is
Baby Pac-Man. Gray. I'm not gonna say that out loud. That's boom, roasted.
The original has bonus fruit
Dirty
items that are no longer static. They move randomly around the maze.
Got it. Okay.
So that was a big change.
Gotcha.
Oh, you had to chase the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, great. Well, thank you for our arcade ones. All of our arcade stuff that existed. That's great. I love that.
Arcades.
Also, Pitfall. I like that because in my head, I have a very vivid image of Pitfall, like of swinging over the alligator pits. Mm-hmm. That's just in my head. All right, who's I forgot the order already. Chris.
I'd be up.
Yeah, Chris, it's your turn.
I don't feel like interrupting this time.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
I'm not making my own rules right now.
So my last one is kind of like I'm really thankful for the board game / D&D renaissance that's occurring right now, or has been occurring for the past few years.
Just kidding. I changed my mind before Chris gives my answer again. I'm taking over. No, okay, go.
It was a joke. Gotcha.
You did get me. But I was thinking about next weekend. I'm going up to hang out with Dan, and Ian's coming with me. We're gonna go to PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia. Pretty pumped about it. So, but I mean, I feel like 10 years ago there wouldn't have been enough enough people going to that to warrant a special conference just for board games.
Yeah.
And tabletop
games.
Analog gaming, if
Yeah.
you will. And just I think the combination of like with D&D and Stranger Things and the movie and like just a lot more interest in and accessibility into 5e has been great for D&D, and I think that's also kind of brought board games in general back, and also just great games like Catan and Ticket to Ride and stuff like that are the kind of Carcassonne that are like the gateway games into like more not just like Monopoly and Sorry, and which are fine. Monopoly's a garbage game and you should never play it. It was supposed to represent.
Monopoly.
It's supposed to show you how awful capitalism is. It's not a fun game. It's not supposed to be fun.
Hannah and I have almost come. It's almost come to blows whenever we have played Carcassonne. Yeah. I just have to say that. Like it is.
Yeah. Oh wow.
We get very intense.
That's feudalism. So it's not capitalism.
Yep.
But
get off my land. That's my farm.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm really thankful for that. I think it's cool as someone who has always been interested in like Magic and Warhammer.
Nice.
For a long time. It's cool to see.
Very cool.
Have you played the Space Catan? I just bought that as a gift to gift one of my friends for Christmas.
I have not.
Have you seen that one? Okay. I haven't played it, but I really want to.
What are you laughing at?
Gray, it is our fun, comrade. The People's Farm. Ooh, that'd be a really good name for like a brewery, like with like a bunch of other stuff around it, like the People's Farm Brewery. You could have a bunch of like just like people, people and a farm. There we go. That's the end of the idea. Allison, it's your turn to go.
All right, so I'm not going to say D&D because Chris said it. I'm going to use my other one, which is it's gaming conventions. So that's something. So I started going to anime conventions first because I was just like kind of looking for my community, and fell in love with conventions in general, and that kind of blossomed into like a creativity like outlet and self-expression in cosplaying. So that really helped me out. Like I've been in a big artistic slump since I got like out of high school, really. Like after
that's a while.
Well, no. I mean, just like when I found cosplay. So it was like when I was in school, like I had art classes and I had all these things that like were directing me to be creative, and I really loved that. And then when I was out on my own as an adult, I never really found time or a purpose in art for myself. And cosplay kind of brought me back to that. It gave me direction. It gave me a way to express myself and build these things and be artistic and really, find love for it again. So cosplay was huge for me in that way. And it comes hand in hand with conventions. Now that I found MagFest, honestly, best convention ever. I'll never,
really is
never.
Good.
You're welcome.
Yeah, nothing can match it for me. Like the community there is amazing. I feel safe. Compared to some other conventions I've been to where I didn't. And it's just a mesh of everything I love. And I go into any room in there and I can find somebody I'm vibing with and can talk with and like have a good time. And just, I don't know. Gaming conventions are it for me. That is my vacation. That is my joy. I love it. And
crazy because you're an introvert.
I know, but it's like the one place where I'm okay. And like, yes, I get burnt out for sure, but we have a place I can go and I can like just cut out into the room and just breathe for a little bit. Or you could even like go and just like walk to, I don't know, out on the street to a like CVS and just not be in the convention center for a minute if you need to. So yeah, as an introvert, I never thought I would enjoy this the way I do, but it gets me out of my bubble and it's in a very like happy, safe way that I can be an extroverted introvert for a weekend and then recover
And your
after.
cosplays are adorable.
Thank you. I love
Extroverted.
them. I love them so much. It's really amazing.
EIA, Extroverted
Uh,
Introverts Anonymous. This is a group.
Yeah.
Yep. It's Lord Graven says she changes into an extrovert in like an anime girl cutscene when she walks into a con.
It's true.
Just like,
Oh my
just like,
gosh.
just like the whole-
Sparkles. It's
like
like,
Magical
it's
girl
the
moment.
cameras, the
Yes.
cameras going around you, and
Yes, I get my magical girl moment.
It's
Finally.
It's
Hopefully
really
it's-
the costume. The
Hopefully it's
costumes is
a
probably
little-
do that for you.
Remember when we all turned into
Yes.
magical girls?
that was
great.
fun.
Yeah, that was great. I love
Technically,
that.
we were magical boys, but
You were
it's,
magical boys.
We were
and
magical boys.
I was the magical girl.
I still
Um,
that have that wig, and it is Hannah is like that wig
I
is
still
so
have those
bad.
shorts.
Me too. They're so comfy. I wear them all the time.
Carrie, no, you're totally right. Like the cosplay, it's kind of like I'm taking on the character. So when
Mhm.
I walk out and I'm in the convention, I can not be me. And that really helps with the introvert issue. I think that's why I enjoy being in costume most of the time.
It's a mask.
It's a
Yeah.
mask. Yeah. Like Camilla, that outfit, never thought I would be comfortable walking around in that. Definitely.
That's a great cosplay, though. You did.
was-
That's some good stuff.
Thank you. I loved that one. That one's my like top best I've done so far as building
I love
something.
Oh, that reminds me. I need to work on stuff
Mabel's
for
fun.
Magfest.
for Tom Nook. I need to
For
get the
Tom.
shirt.
Yes.
Gotta
Yes,
get the
um,
shirt.
Basically, just the shirt.
Yes, we're doing Animal
No
Crossing
pants,
as
right?
a group. As a group
No, he
this
wears
time.
pants.
Does he wear pants? Okay, that's good. I was gonna say if you're Donald Ducking it around that convention, I think they're
Dude,
gonna be a
I
little
could Donald
upset.
Ducking it. I honestly, they'd be like, eh.
Oh
But
boy.
like that outfit, I would never wear. I would never wear that outfit except that I was Camilla, so I got to kind of embody her like
Nice.
mentally, and I felt good about it.
Smack people with an axe. Nice. And then mine last thing is along the same lines as what Chris and Allison just said, which is one particular game, a board game, which is called Dominion, that my friend Marianne showed to us. It's like a card collecting game, like a deck building game. And it has so many different versions of this game that you can play. You could play it with 2 people and it takes like 20 to 30 minutes. You could play with 4 people and it takes a while. You can all get real mad at each other, but it's just fun. And it just reminds me it's a thing we could do that's fun. That's not like a screen. It's not a game. It's not sitting down and watching another Netflix show. It's like we have to think and like be, I don't know, be present, but also be like, thinking and scheming against each other. Like me and my beautiful fiance Hannah play it all the time. And we just because it's just cards. You just go put them on the table. You play the game. It's great. It's perfect. Whenever Chris and Ian are up, we're gonna play it with them, and they're gonna immediately buy it. This is what happens: is you play it with somebody, they immediately go and buy it as soon as you play it with them because it's so fun.
Conveniently, will be somewhere where you can
Exactly.
buy it.
It's perfect. So yeah, and I'm thankful to my friend Marianne for showing that game to us and making us addicted to it. So thank you, Marianne.
She's
not-
the best.
She is. She's not
the
listening,
best.
and I don't
She's
know
the
if she
best.
will. But
She's the best.
she's the best. She's the best. I know, Carrie. You said you had one more thing, or did you lump them together so that it was 3?
Oh, I lumped them together. Yeah,
Perfect. Perfect. Because then we can go into what some of the people have said. So Dante Destiny in the chat had 2 things he was thankful for. Number 1, I met friends and grew strong long-term friendships when I was awkward. Gotcha. No, we know.
This
Mike. We know, Mike.
This opinion not of the entire game brew. It is only Dan.
Yes, it is. It gave me a lot of common ground to come out of my shell and share these fake worlds, which led to sharing real world life. No, that's really great. And 2, I grew to learn to listen to new music and stretch my musical palette.
Yeah,
I
that's
learned a
one
lot
the
of
things I was
music.
thinking about too, actually.
A lot of music and developed a passion for music when I was just humming along to combat songs in Final Fantasy VII. I had to do the things in my head. I started doing harmonies as I heard songs looped. It's awesome. I mean, yeah, dude. Hey, no, you keep listening to the podcast, Dada. You're great. You know we love you. But yeah, no, that just that like being a teenager and like talking to my friends about Final Fantasy and being like, yeah, that's the song that plays whenever you win, and it's great because it was just a thing that could always happen. So that's awesome. What else? Do we have anyone else?
Yeah, Gray had one.
Gray had one. Gray's thankful for the
yeah. Oh, you found it.
Yeah. The peace it brings to me and my friends in the form of joy to play games, which is a really beautiful way of phrasing that. Oh, Dante, we love you too. But yeah, that's a beautiful way of phrasing like the peace it brings to me and my friends in the form of joy. Whereas like it is fun, like it's fun to play games with your friends. It's fun to play games by yourself. And it does bring me, even whenever I'm really mad at Sifu or Alan Wake 2, which I have one boss where I can't just beat it. I'm still like, I'm mad, but I'm not mad at like my regular life stuff, which I'm usually more mad at.
Yeah, it really is like gaming therapy is what's got me through life, like in ways that nothing else can kind of calm me or get me through anxiety or get me through a rough spot. Video games have done that. So yeah, that's
for sure.
Completely true.
And just games in general, which is also good. You know, it's not even just video games anymore. It's just games now because it's just like, so I'm an adult. I don't want to do adult things. I want to play games, you know, which is like, boy.
I think it's silly to not, to keep that trope that playing games can't be an adult thing. You know,
I mean, I think people our age are kind of getting past that.
Yeah, absolutely. That stigma really has changed. I mean, because me as my adult years talking about playing games, I'd get looked at like, oh, you're just a loser that plays games kind of thing. Well, to non-game players. And now there's a better like especially at my age now when people are like, oh, you're 46 and you still play games kind of thing. It's like, yeah, of course, I love my social time with my friends. To me it's the equivalent of what my parents did back in the day with their bowling leagues. It's games are just something I'm so grateful in my life on so many levels.
It's a renaissance of sorts. We should start making paintings of us wearing togas and playing Call of Duty against one another.
It's so mainstream now too. I think that's helped.
That yes, because the internet is a thing.
The internet is a thing, which I'm thankful
Well,
for.
all these stars, and big name people have come out of the woodwork, proudly playing their games. Like you've got T-Pain on Twitch with a big following, and he plays games on stream. You've got
Jack Black,
Felicia Day. Does Jack Black?
Day?
Yeah.
Does Twitch?
Snoop Dogg does Twitch too. Yeah. I know.
He did kind of.
He kind of does Twitch, Well, as
promotionally.
Yeah, there's a Tenacious D song about video games.
Oh yes, that's
that came out pretty recently. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. A good one.
Yeah, it's what is it? Is it called like
Jabrowski? I don't know. I don't know, man. But yeah, Jablinski games. But that's great. Yeah, it's a gaming renaissance, and we're all here for it. And yeah, and of course, we at the Game Bureau are thankful to all of you who listen to our podcast, and show up here and chat with us and watch us play video games and do all sorts of stuff. We've obviously been doing this for almost 7 years. So it's been a lot of fun, and it is sometimes I get a little stressed out, but I'm really, whenever we get here and I start to talk to you all in the chat and everybody here in the podcast, I always am reminded that it's like, yeah, I love this. I love doing this. I love talking to people about video games. I love playing video games. I love doing all these stupid things with my dumb friends. I love you guys. I love you buttheads so much. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. Does anyone else have any final thoughts they want to add on?
Yeah, definitely just thankful for all of our listeners in whatever format it is. I love having people watch us on Twitch because then we get that interaction. But also people who listen to us on record later, everything like, and come into the Discord and discuss after the fact. I love all that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and voicing things. Like, definitely helps us with what we're doing and shapes how we do things in the future.
Cool. Yes, it does. Anyone? Anyone? Any final thoughts before I plug things?
Whoa.
No. Not in a sexy way. In like a normal
unsexy way.
In an unsexy way.
Oh.
I mean, I could do it in a sexy way. I could hold on.
Do it in a sexy way. Please.
Oh, by the way, every time you guys kept saying "wow" over and over again, I really wanted to go, but I couldn't because it would ruin the moment because you were all being so heartfelt. But so I was like, I can't do that right now. Let me see. Can I do it in a sexy way? Can I do? Ooh,
Barry.
Here we go. Hello.
No.
It's time for me to plug some things.
Oh,
I don't know if Puss in Boots is sexy. This is.
I know. I like it.
I would like
Antonio Banderas is very sexy.
I like it.
Puss in the Boots. No, I would. That's I could do romantic piano. Hey.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. I'm really excited to. No, I'm just kidding. But we are gonna plug the things. Here's the plugs. Number one, go join the Discord if you're here and you're not in the Discord. Go to bit.ly/discobrew, DISCOBREW. In there, you can chat with us. You can talk with friends. You can do all sorts of things. You can see all the pictures that we post of stuff. You can talk about episodes of the podcast that are out. You could say, hey, I started listening from the beginning because I wanted to hear what everybody was like in 2017, but don't do that. Also, there is no episode 1. You could also subscribe to the Twitch stream here if you want to. If you're here and you're not following, just hit the follow button. If you feel obliged to subscribe, go ahead and do it. It really helps us out a lot. Hopefully, if you subscribe, it lets us kind of offset some cost of like doing the podcast, but that's not important. It's just great to have you here. If you subscribe on your favorite streaming podcasting service, that's great too, because then you can listen to it while you're driving. You can listen to it during work, whenever you should be doing work, but instead listen to this podcast. Or like while you're playing, doing Stardew Valley, where you're not really paying attention to anything. You could just listen to the podcast. It's great. Or playing COD like I do. And you can do that at the space Game Brew, all one word podcast. And yeah, that's it. So go to all those things. Carrie, anything to plug?
So unfortunately, I didn't get a chance due to illness and birthdays and holidays and everything to wire the Sanderson sisters' house. So that is still upcoming on my plate, and that will happen this month. Well, I guess not this month, but December. So yeah, if you want to follow me, you can at PIPPITA.
Pepita.
Nice. Allison?
I'm Vanalia on Twitch. If you want to follow me, I have a stream coming up next month too. I will post the date as soon as I have that settled. Almost got my streaming area in a good place, so that's kind of what I'm waiting on. And thanks everybody for listening. That's it.
Nice. Allison, I don't think your shout out worked.
It didn't. It's fine.
Well, you have to do /shout-out space.
I forget.
Vanalia.
See, I'm a bad streamer.
Do it again. Do it again. Chris, what are you going to plug?
Call your mom. She misses you.
call your mom. She misses you. That's true. Call your mom. Call your dad. Call your
Call
mom.
your dad too, yeah.
Call your
parents,
mom.
Call your grandparents. Call your grandparents.
Call your Jesus. Call your grandparents. They are so bored.
They miss you so much.
They miss you so much, and they love you so much. Call your grandma.
Call your friends whenever you're driving. So something I like to do when I'm driving places, I'll call my friends because I like to talk to them.
Will Shell does that all the time in the most inopportune moment of my life, though. It's usually
Pretty
whenever I'm like, oh God, it's great. Yes. So that's it for the plugs. Yeah. Remember, tell your moms to listen to the podcast. Tell your mom's friends to listen to the podcast. And we're going to end the podcast the way that we always end the podcast, which is by saying good night,
Good night,
everybody.
Everybody.